Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Brandon. Hopefully this does not get cut out. We'll find out. I don't know. But love all of you guys. Very excited to be talking about Teenage Risk Still Love, their new album. It's been on my radar to do for a little bit now. So I know people have been patiently awaiting my thoughts on this album, and honestly, I'm real stoked to jump into it. Honestly, so hopefully you enjoy it. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up. I try to do as much as humanly possible in terms of new releases and such, but it's tough. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that comes out, I'll tell you what. But yeah, this has been on my radar for a bit. Still Love came out on Friday via Epitaph Records. So if you haven't checked out the album, please stick around, watch the whole album. We're going to be listening to the entire thing, and I'm just extremely pumped to delve into this album. I have listened to Sunshine, Dark Skies, Still Love, or Dark Sky, Still Love. And then there's one more, Diorama. That was the other one I listened to. So I pretty much have listened to all of the singles, or at least the ones with music videos. And so I'm just really excited to break down the entire album, my thoughts on it, all that sort of stuff. So if you love Teenage Risk, and I do still plan on doing their previous albums, that will come out at some point in the future. But I definitely wanted to tackle Still Love since that's out right now. Also, if you just heard a meow, that's my cat. He is a pain in my butt sometimes, but I love this man. So I'll show him to you real quick. Oh, come here, buddy. Big old meatball. Yeah, see? You're the culprit. You're the culprit. All right, well, if you want to sit on my lap, you can sit on my lap. If not, then he's probably going to go and continue to meow at me until this is over with. But yeah, very excited. We're gonna jump off with the first track, the one that everybody's been spinning for a minute, because I know this one was the first one that came out, and it is Sunshine. And I have listened to it a little bit since I did my reaction video, but I've been keeping it kind of low key because I want to just delve into it as a whole. So let's get into Sunshine right now. I still love this song so much. All right, guys. If you're just tuning in, we're at the first song, Sunshine. I really enjoyed this one when it first came out, and in fact, I think I just grown to love it even more since the release. Um, just love that initial guitar riff. That's like such. It's like so grungy, so like distortion heavy. And just I kind of enjoy the like straight beat of the drums. Like I don't think that it's doing too much, you know. I think it has just enough energy to it where I think it does carry the song super well. But I just think that Teenage Risk thus far, at least for me, and this being kind of like I'd argue the first album I've really delved into with the band. It's been very cool to have more of the sort of like grungier aspects of this band because I believe their previous album wasn't as nearly as grungy to my recollection. So this has been quite a change of pace, and I imagine for people who have been Teenage Risk fans for quite a bit, you know, it might be a little bit of a I don't want to say departure, but I definitely feel like a new leaf has been turned. I also know that their previous vocalist left on good terms, I believe, and then he just, you know, I guess sonically just, you know, wasn't feeling it. I know he is in another project called Heavenward, which is ironic considering that track 10 has their previous vocalist on it. So, very curious to delve into that one, certainly, as we get along with the songs. But really like the vocal tones in this one. Really sick. I think I think some of the ways that their current vocalist has like unique cadence to his vocals. That was something I really noticed listening throughout some of the songs that they've released at the current time before the album was out. I did notice that there was a really interesting way that they that you know they had gone about singing, you know, especially like there's certain parts where I felt like melodically it would have kicked in, but I appreciate some of the more like layering going on. I think especially in Sunshine there was some really cool like vocal layering parts that I didn't really notice upon first listen, and now listening to it again after and listening to it live here with you guys, and there was definitely some moments where I was like, this is really interesting, this is cool, and I didn't really pick upon it the first time. So really enjoyed that aspect of it. That chorus absolutely kicks. I love that chorus of this song. I still think this is going to be pretty high up there in terms of my favorites, not only because it was kind of my first introduction to this band, but also I just love that guitar riff. I think that's really going to get stuck in my head. It gets stuck in my head pretty frequently, so I can say that I really was just vibing out with this one a ton. So definitely go check out Sunshine if you haven't, and check out this album. I already picked it up on vinyl, so I'm really stoked to get that in hand at some point. I believe that's going to be shipping out pretty soon. So very, very stoked to own this in my collection. I definitely have to get their first two albums on vinyl, so excited to do that. And they're also going out on tour. So I'll definitely be going out to go see them live as well too. So just a lot of cool stuff in the Teenage Risk camp. So big salutes to them. We are going to move it into track 2, which is Dark Sky. This one features S.A. Martinez, which I didn't know he was of 311. That was one project I never really listened to at growing up. I was more of a Blink stan. Or just like a Blink listener. I don't want to say a stan because I really just know them for most of their like pop punk hit songs. So I know, hot take, very strange, but I didn't know he was the vocalist of 311 or a part of 311, so that was really cool to listen to him and have a different perspective. I did wind up doing a reaction video to this song that never got posted, so if you'd like to see that, let me know, because the music video was very fun too. But let's get into Dark Sky. I'm very excited to listen to this again because it's been a little bit.
Sick and summer fly.
completely changed in this like pre-chorus chorus. Like hardcore punk beat part. It's so sick. There's more folks go. Nature boy, that's what's magical. But there's no magic when the tricks get old. Regenerate me. We all can see. Let me tell my friends. That was the SA, man. So sick. Part's hit. All right, guys, that was track 2, Dark Sky, featuring S.A. Martinez of 311. I really enjoyed this one. I think it borrows a lot from Sunshine in terms of the more grunge aspects of their band and what they're trying to do now. I think the biggest left-hand turn was S.A. Martinez. I think he was a great feature on this song. First of all, watching the music video and seeing him in the music video, did like his clean vocals just didn't click with me. I looked at it, not that I didn't enjoy him, I do like him, but I felt like you look at him and you think, man, he's doing definitely the hardcore punk sort of vocals in that second verse, but you don't expect him to be doing the clean parts as well. And so his clean vocals definitely shook me a little bit. So I feel like the only justification of that is the reaction video, which none of you saw, and obviously it was just me experiencing it. But I will say his vocals really surprised me a lot when I did the reaction video, and just because was in the moment watching the music video. So I got to give him a lot of credit for that, because again, never had listened to really a 311 song before. Still haven't listened to 311 songs, so this is my first introduction to SA. So I got to give him a lot of credit, because his vocal range is wildly out there, which is so cool, because he's got this real kind of hardcore punk sort of vocal style at the beginning of the song, and then goes into these really pristine, clean vocals. So great addition to the track. I would be curious how they got him onto this song, because it seems like he's pretty high up there. And so actually a lot of the features on this album, I'm just curious how they got them, because it seems like there's some pretty OG names on here. Again, 311, Fear Before the March of Flames is another one that's an OG post-hardcore band. Heavenward seems to be the most cut and dry. Same with Soft Cult, I feel, to some degree. And then Sister Void, I've never heard of them, so we're gonna have to delve into their stuff as well too. But getting to the song itself, again, previously as mentioned, I think it borrows a lot from Sunshine in terms of the more grunge aspects of things, which was really cool to hear. But I also think they kind of took it in a little bit more of a different direction. I think there's especially that part with SA. I had a little bit of a hardcore sort of punk feel to it, which I really enjoyed. You don't really get to hear that too. I don't personally get to hear that too often, so that was very nice to hear in a song like that. I love the big open chorus of this song. Again, really a sick, like, really just ripper sort of a song. And I think it was a lot of the reasons why I really enjoyed Sunshine was just kind of the more like angsty, just like in your face sort of like instrumentation work with the really kind of like shoegazy sort of ethereal vocals going on in this track. Really, again, some really awesome vocal layering going on in this track as well too. Very similarly to Sunshine. But yeah, enjoyed this one a lot. Really good. I would say all of the singles that I listened to were all great in their own right. I think Diorama was the only one that I'm a little bit still unsure of. And obviously it's in the middle of the album, so we're gonna see how well that sits. But yeah, I'm curious on where that lands, collectively in the album track list. But yeah, this Dark Sky track with S.A. Martinez, crushed. I love this one. I go back and listen to this one pretty regularly, and I still enjoy it every time I put it on. So big salutes to Dark Skies. Dark Sky, I mean, I don't know. Dark Skies is a Fit for a King album, and I don't know why I keep saying that. But here we are. Anyway, we're going to move it on to track 3, which is Still Love, the title track, and this one features Soft Cult, another really cool band. If you haven't checked them out, go give them some love. But yeah, let's go give Still Love a listen. part's so sick too. The layering is so sick. All right, guys. So that was track 3, Still Love, off of the aptly named album Still Love by Teenage Risk. You can check the links in the description to go pick it up. Please go support these guys. They're awesome, and they're going to be going on tour very soon. So just a bunch of cool stuff in the Teenage Risk camp, and I'm so excited to be part of that journey, just even in a tiny way. But I really enjoyed this one. I believe I had done a reaction video to this one. I believe it's up on the channel. I'm 95% sure. I can't remember what I did yesterday. So yeah. So my brain is definitely, my short-term memory is not at peak right now. But getting into the song itself, I really enjoyed this one. I think comparatively to the other singles that I released, because I believe this one came out before Dark Sky came out. I think Dark Sky was one of the last ones that I personally listened to. And Still Love was a really good track, and I still think it's a very, very good track. I would say comparatively to both Dark Sky and Sunshine, this one is definitely a little bit more like out there in terms of the more shoegazy sort of elements going on in this track. I just think there's a lot more openness going on. But the coolest thing I think personally about this song is the way that Soft Cold's vocalist and Teenage Risk vocalist kind of meshed together. They have a really cool synergy that I think was very well utilized in a track like this. I believe that Soft Cold's vocalist did a lot of the more like overdubbing and the harmonies going on within the chorus of this song, which I thought was really nice. And then obviously they gave her own bridge of the song, which I think was also very cool and ties it in, especially into that last chorus of the song. Dynamically, it's like really in depth, and I think that that's really cool. There's a lot of like heavier elements going on in this track. I know that they did work with Loath, and they wind up doing Is It Really You, like their version of the song. And that was kind of a lot of the correlation that I could pull in terms of their sound, and maybe kind of again a first listen of the band. And so really enjoyed that aspect of it. They had a really cool kind of like, again, open tone to it, but also like trying to dynamically keep it interesting by having some really cool vocal lines, as well as having just some really just interesting ear candy going on in the track that really sold me initially on the song, and what sold me initially just kind of on the album. I think Sunshine was a great starting point. Still Love was a good follow-up to that. I think, again, Diorama is one of those ones that I think I need to just kind of listen to it more so in the context of the album. But overall, it's been a very fun experience, and I think, again, Still Love is amongst one of my favorites that I had listened to when I originally checked out Teenage Risk and just kind of did more reaction videos. So definitely one to give a listen to if you haven't. I think it definitely wears the crown of being the title track of the album well. And I'm curious to see how far and how outreaching they go in terms of the album itself. But we are going to move it on to track 4, which is Digital Self. This is a new one. Pretty much the next 3 songs are all new songs to me. And then we get to Diorama, and then basically the last like 6 songs, 5 or I guess it's 5 songs, I can't count, will all also be new songs. So let's get into Digital Self, because this is a new one, so I'm excited. sick ending. That drummer went off. I love it. Guys, track 4, Digital Self. Really enjoyed this one. I think, I feel like I'm making a broken record here, but I think that there's a lot of elements that you could pull from Sunshine in terms of the more like grungier, riffier aspects of it. This one felt a little bit more succinct, I would say. I enjoyed the vocal. I enjoyed the vocal melodies of this one. This one was really fun, very interesting. I will say, as well as this, their drummer just popped off in this track. What a great song! If you're a drummer, definitely that ending was wild. What a great guitar, like drum fill at the end, just was super tight. As well as that, I think like the vocals definitely had some really interesting like vocal melodies going on, especially towards the like latter half of the song. That was when it really got more like interesting, a little bit more in depth, and I think that was probably my biggest selling point on this song specifically. As well as that, I really enjoyed kind of the more again grunge and like alt sort of vibes of this track. Definitely was brought super strong within Digital Self, and I think they just continue to they continue to do a very good job of honing in on a sound like that and just kind of continuing on with it. I think that thus far it's been a very interesting journey musically, but also like pretty diverse thus far. I think Still Love is probably the most diverse of the songs that we've listened to thus far. So I'm just curious how far reaching they're going to be going in terms of different sounds and different like heaviness, because all of these songs sound super super heavy, and I imagine they're using like a lot of like fuzz and like a lot of like, I don't even know if they're maybe using an octavizer, but it definitely has a larger sound to it that that I think really makes it kind of heavy in a unique way. So really enjoy that kind of aspect of what they're bringing thus far, and I think it's to me something that at least stands out in terms of teenage risk stuff, which I'm very unknowledgeable about up until this point. So it's been fun to kind of delve into more of their catalog, at least in terms of this album, and I will be delving into older stuff as well as Heavenward as well. I plan on doing something with that record release as well too. So let's move it on to track 5, which is Something Good. I'm very curious on how this is gonna sound and what direction they're gonna be taking. Ooh. What is this? Is it like some... Oh, it must be like a really heavily guitar.
Such pride, mistaught. You did what you thought you had to. I spent my life etching the same lines that divide you. I wanna erase my mind so I could be understood. I wanna come back to you with something good. I just wanted to love myself. I did the best I could. I wanna come back to you with something good.
I'm really digging the vibes of this track.
Don't look back now. The trail of dead inherited sickness proved to be fatal. I can't go back now. It's too late. I kept my worst cards under the table. I've been
Ooh, nice chord at the end. That was sick. All right, guys. Well, that was track 5, Something Good, off of Teenage Risk's new album, Still Love. You can check the links below to go pick it up if you feel so inclined to. This one was definitely a little bit different, and I'm all about it. I think that thus far it's been a very interesting experience delving into this album. I think this is the newest album with their new vocalist, and so there's definitely a different sort of tone to this one, I'd argue. As well as that, I think the sound of this one, I like that a lot of it focused mainly around that acoustic guitar riff. I thought that was really tight, and definitely a different change of pace comparatively to some of the other songs, where I feel like a lot of the stuff is a little bit more riff centric as opposed to this one, where I feel like the vocals actually do a lot of shining in this track. I think you're able to get to hear their new vocalist in more of an interesting capacity. I think Digital Self was a pretty good indicator of like kind of more of the like runs and musical prowess that they provide, but I think Something Good really kind of delves more into the more emotional or more like honest like approaching lyricism of their vocalists. Like I just think that there's just this energy about this song that I think can't be really explained too well comparatively to some of the other songs that we've listened to, which I like. I think overall I was trying to figure out like how far or how reaching they're going to be going in terms of this release, and thus far, like again, releasing Diorama I think was a good choice. Obviously pairing this up very closely to Something Good. I love the drumming of this track as well. And I'd also say kind of like conversely as well too, I think just the way that the acoustic guitar works with like more of the open drumming I think is really nice too, and it offers this really unique like melodic passage throughout this song as well. But yeah, overall, really fun song. A little bit more subdued, which is nice because I felt like Digital Self was a little bit more on that aggressive side, which is definitely nice. And you need that counterbalance certainly within the album. But yeah, really solid song overall, and I think it meshes up well with where the album sits thus far, being I would say pretty much the middle of the release. I think we're at a very cool turning point in the record. So I'm just curious to get into the next track, which is Wax Poetic. This one is featuring Sister Void, which I've never listened to. So it'll be curious for me to kind of point out those important factors within the song. But let's get into Wax Poetic. I am going to get another one of my drinks, so I'll be right back if I look like I'm walking away from the screen. So still listening. Sister Void's awesome. It sounds really cool.
Whisper songs in my ear. This is gonna change for the better. You whisper songs in my ear. This is gonna change for the better. You whisper songs in my
Harmonies. All right, I love it. Get down.
This is gonna change for the better. You whisper songs in my ear. This is gonna change for the better.
Nice. All right, guys, that was track 6 off of Teenage Risk's new album, Still Love. You can check the links below. If you'd like to pick it up, please go support Teenage Risk. They're really sick, and I'd like to see them do more stuff. So, this song was very good. I think I can find a lot of relation to this song, as well as Something Good. It does start off a little bit more melodic, a little bit softer, and that was a cool juxtaposition to ones the really just like fuzzy, like distorted guitar came in, and it definitely reminds me more of like Digital Self or even Dark Sky, as well as that like previous songs on the album. And I think that they really kind of do a great job of incorporating stuff that they're familiar with on the album, but also really taking a lot of cues from the features that they have on it. And if a song doesn't have a feature, I think they just kind of go ham, and I love that. But I think with this song, Sister Void did a really great job. That first chorus that she's in sounds great. I think she offers these really cool harmonies and overdubs on that song, very similarly to my comments on Soft Cult. But I also think that last chorus, she really goes off, really sings her, like she just really sings it off, and I think that's kind of like the larger selling point that I have about maybe this song comparatively to Soft Cult, which I also really enjoyed that song as well too. But I think that with each feature that they have on, they kind of want to be able to highlight them very well, along with obviously highlighting their songwriting. And I think that this song does a very good job of mixing those two thought processes together. And just like the tones on this track were really tight, really aggressive. Like obviously, as you could tell, I was like really much bobbing my head and feeling that one. But yeah, I think they're pulling a lot from the alt and like the kind of grungy sort of stuff, which is really nice to hear. I know that just 90s culture as a whole has been seeing a large resurgence. So it's cool to see just kind of the difference in terms of like musical thought process and some of the stuff that they pull from, and how it may differentiate from previous stuff that was like out before that. So love that element of this track, and just again, Sister Void did a fantastic job on this song. So big kudos to them. Love this song as a whole. And I think it's a good midpoint in the album, because I think it brings up the energy just a little bit, just to be taken down I would say just a hair, with Diorama being a little bit more of a softer song. It is an interesting thought process to put this song Wax Poetic and then you put Diorama, and I don't know what Cold Case is. I'd imagine it'd probably be a little bit more closer aligned to Wax Poetic. So it's been kind of a roller coaster in terms of like emotions and dynamics and stuff. So it's been interesting, this midpoint between the album, to kind of like collect my thoughts and see where I'm at. But yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. I think this one sonically was one of my favorites thus far. And so really enjoyed this one, and we're going to move it on to Diorama, which is one that I've listened to, but it's been a little minute since I've given this one a listen. So we're going to hop into it right now. psychedelic guitar work. It's so wild. drumming kind of jumps ahead of like the actual musicality of the song. Super tight, almost like breakbeat drums. Ah, what an ending. I love that. So beautiful. Kudos. Alright guys, that was track number 7, Diorama. I really enjoyed this one. I think I will kind of retract some of the statements I may have made about the song previously. I think contextually, this is a much better song than I gave it a lot of credit for at the current time. To be fair, it was a single, and I had just finished listening to Sunshine. So I think if you look at it from the perspective of like single releases, like it definitely doesn't fit the motif of what you feel like Teenage Wrist would be going for. But now having listened to, 6 songs off the album, I think it does give you a better idea of where this fits. And I think now listening to what I've listened to and what I'm going to be listening to, I think Diorama does a very good job of sitting in that sort of box that Teenage Wrist has kind of carved out for themselves. So I absolutely love that. This also, I think, shows us a different side of Teenage Wrist's current vocalist right now. Especially more in sort of like the higher register, the more like falsetto-y sort of stuff. There was a lot of great vocal melodies going on in this track that I didn't really pick upon the first time listening to it. But I also think it shows off how strong of a vocalist that they are as a collective. Just because there's a lot of cool like elements within Sunshine, like even Still Love, Digital Self, like some of those moments where like it's a little bit more, even Dark Sky too, I would say as well, just like more of the aggressive songs where you can kind of feel the larger like overtones of their vocals, which is really great. But I also feel like it gives you kind of a different perspective when you're listening to like Something Good, or like even in the previous track, Wax Poetic, where there's a little bit softer moments. I think it gives you a little bit of a better idea, or a peek into the kind of the looking glass of what what their vocalist is able to do, and just kind of the more like falsetto-y higher tones that they're able to create. And I think I wish that, and I imagine, again, we're halfway through the album roughly, that some of these other songs, I hope that their vocalist feels a little bit more comfortable to kind of push themselves into doing some of those more cooler stuff. You know, I think that's what would lead into some really cool Teenage Riz songs, is just that finding that sort of confidence to just kind of extend themselves that much more. And again, we're on the back half of the album, so I imagine there's probably going to be songs I'm really going to fall in love with. But I feel like I had to kind of run myself back with Diorama, because I actually really enjoyed this song a lot, and I think it hits a good midpoint. I think maybe in the kind of context of where the tracks are laid out, I think Diorama may not. I think it would be cool to have like Diorama after something good, but I kind of can see the thought process of having two songs that are a little bit softer right after each other and back to back. You know, I can see where that context would lie, but great song, and I think I have fully backed myself out of that corner of not liking this song. I like the more psychedelic elements of this track as well too. I know I pointed that out in my original reaction to the track, and I'd be curious to see if they incorporate some more of those elements in the songs that precede us. So be very cool to see if they do incorporate that more often. But yeah, the vocalist crushed it in this track, and I think that I did not give them enough credit at the current time, and I hope to give them a little bit more credit within this song specifically. So we are going to move it on to the next track, which is Cold Case. So let's give this bad boy a listen. I'm curious where we're going to be standing after Diorama. I think this is going to be a heavier song. Oh, yeah. That dropout. Ooh, okay. Switching it up with the drop rhythm. A little simple ride. I like that. was sick. I like that. Guys, that was track 8, Cold Case. Yeah, this one was really cool. It was a little bit more vibey. I think, again, this one pulled a lot from, like, more of their, like, indie alt sort of vibes. And then at the end, it got really, like, heavy and dark. And I'm curious if they'll, like, take that down an interesting path. But I liked it. It was a little slow to start, I would say. I almost thought for sure we were going to get Diorama 2 a little bit with sort of the sonic sounds, but actually kind of reminds me a little bit closer to one of the bands that I have up here, Movement. It has a little bit more of a sort of indie-ish feel, like an indie alt feel. Would love to see if Movement and Teenage Wrist, if they ever did a tour together, that would be awesome. Just putting it out there, just saying. I feel like sonically they would work out super well together. But yeah, this one was definitely more of a vibe. Enjoyed the sort of more like ethereal elements going on in the track. As I mentioned before, I will say that a lot of the sort of like psychedelic moments were a little bit closer towards the end of the track. And I think that's kind of where my correlation between Diorama and Cold Case kind of begins in that sort of aspect. But at the end, again, got really heavy, got really dark, and I love that sort of element that they brought into this track. I imagine it's going to lead very well into the next song we're going to be listening to, which is Cigarette Two-Step. But I kind of enjoyed the vibes of it. I liked how progressively it got a little bit more aggressive too. It just got a little bit, like, there just seemed to be about a good energy to it. And just as the song progressed, you get a little bit more roped in as the song kind of continues and presses on. So I really enjoyed that sort of element of it. As well as that, I think their vocalists definitely got more into the screaming towards the end of the track, which was very interesting. I really haven't heard them push the voice like that as much in some of the previous songs that we've listened to. So it's been nice to hear a little bit more like vocal diversity in that sort of aspect of going a little bit heavier. So that was very cool and an enjoyable thing to add to the experience of this song. So Cold Case was great. I think it just did take a little bit to set in, but once the song kind of got into its groove and its momentum, that's when I really started to enjoy it. So go check this one out if you haven't already. This one, Cold Case was a really fun one to get into. But we are going to move it into the next track, which is track 9. This is Cigarette Two-Step, as I mentioned previously, and this one features Fear Before the March of Flames, which if you've been with the scene for a while, you would know this is a classic band. So curious how they're going to integrate within this song. It's going to be very interesting, but I'm excited nonetheless. So let's get into Cigarette Two-Step. Like this drum beat. Ooh. That like Ziggy Tech whammy, like pull up. I love that. All right. I like how that's still incorporated in this song. It's so sick.
You gotta crack your head open to see who's inside. And I'm not that sad about anything really. I discern what I can't quite feel, a strange anatomy. Say you are.
Oh my god, that was awesome. Oh, that ending was awesome. Guys, that was Cigarette Two Step featuring Fear Before the March of Flames. I was curious how they were going to integrate in the song, and my curiosity is now gone. I know exactly how they were going to do it. So, great song. If you haven't, if you're just tuning in now, this is off of Teenage Wrist's newest album, Still Love. You can check the links in the description if you'd like to go pick it up. Go support the boys. I can't wait to get my vinyl in the mail. So very, very hyped on that. But this song was great. I think this one is a front runner for me. Obviously, I am a huge heavy music stan, as most people know here on the channel now at this point. And Fear is just another great band that I feel like not a lot of people really know about. I'm on the cusp of really knowing about them. They might have just disbanded prior to me getting into the scene, but I know that they are an OG band, so it's very cool to hear them again on a track like this. Really sick. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'd be very curious to see how they got this feature, because this one kind of seems out of pretty left field, but really works with the energy of the track. I did mention in Cold Case how I love this sort of darker elements going on in that song, especially towards the end of Cold Case, and how well it kind of leads into Cigarette Two Step and kind of continues that sort of darker energy. Really enjoyed that. I like the guitar riff in this track, super sick. That Digitech whammy where they went up an octave, I thought that was really wild and just fun. I love a good song. I love a song with a good Digitech whammy part. I'll tell you what, that's how you can tell my guitar nerdism is just super pumped about it. But I was really vibing out with the song. I think the actual instrumentation of the song was really sick. Drumming was really dynamic in this track, which obviously having Fear Before the March of Flames on a song, you gotta have the dynamics there. So I love that the energy was brought. But yeah, that ending portion of the song just felt like an insanely fun breakdown. I'd be curious to see if they ever wind up doing this one live, maybe wherever Fear is. I imagine that at some point they'll probably play this live and it would pop off. So I'm very excited about this one. But yeah, this one definitely struck me personally because I'm a huge post-hardcore heavier fan, and I think this one kind of scratches that itch for me in terms of that sound. Even though I feel like Teenage Wrist really doesn't kind of hit that sort of threshold in terms of that type of music, I do think that they've borrowed a lot of elements from especially post-hardcore in general within this song. So I love this sort of heavier end of things with Teenage Wrist, and I hope this isn't the last time we'll hear a song a little bit more in this direction. I'd just be kind of curious to see where their headspace is at on this, because it's a different vibe for them. But I think they absolutely did a great job crushing this track, and I think this one has cemented itself as one of my favorites off the album. So definitely love this one a lot, and just Fear did a great job. It was great to hear them back and just doing stuff again, as I mentioned before. But just kind of hearing them in a track and hearing that last minute's worth of a breakdown was just really tight. It had a great energy. Obviously, I was going off. I was feeling it, feeling the vibe. So definitely a great track to listen to if you haven't already. Go do it. But we are going to move on to track number 10, which is Humbug. This one features Heavenward, which is ironic. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Heavenward is the old vocalist's new project, and then obviously this is the new album with the new vocalist on it. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things going on. But I'm glad that they are doing a song together, because that means that they have end on good terms and that enough for them to write a song together. So I think that that's really cool. And obviously, I'll have to check out Heavenward in the next iteration, next video, something like that. I definitely do plan on doing some more Teenage Wrist stuff, especially their older albums, just so I can become more familiarized with Teenage Wrist. I really have enjoyed listening to Still Love and some of the songs off of their previous albums, but I have not listened to it full from front to back, so I'm excited to hopefully find time to carve out to do that for Teenage Wrist homies. So the next one, as I mentioned before, Humbug featuring Heavenward. Let's jump into it. Something sick? Alright. That was so sick. Alright, that was track 10, Humbug, featuring Heavenward, off of Teenage Wrist's new album, Still Love. You can check the links below to go give it some love. But, man, this one was really cool. Obviously, I think if I was an OG fan of Teenage Wrist, I would be, like, absolutely fucking shocked that the two vocalists of Teenage Wrist, the current one and the previous one, would be on a track together. That would have been like, a Marvel Cinematic Universe sort of thought process. But hey, very cool. I think they blended super well together. Obviously, I think if you're thinking in terms of the previous vocalist, I think obviously his vocals it's super well, but I think comparatively as well is like they have this sort of interchangeable ability that I really kind of enjoyed throughout the entire listening experience of Humbug. Just because I think the way that they have their tonalities laid out are completely different. And it's not really until you hear either both of them together or you hear them both separately as well where you can kind of differentiate between their sound. And I think that's what kind of is interesting about this song specifically is, like, you can go back and listen to previous, like, Teenage Wrist albums and really kind of get a lot of love to Heavenward's current, like, vocalist, but also previous Teenage Wrist vocalist. But I also think you can show a lot of love to their most current vocalist right now in terms of, like, sound and kind of separating themselves, I think is very nice. But I think they blend super well together, and I know that I imagine wasn't the ultimate thing for them to do, but I do think that there is this level of, like, meshability that I think both vocalists have within this project that I think is very much utilized in a song like this. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think the actual instrumentation was really sick too, really aggressive, really in your face, and I think that was probably the reason why I enjoyed it a lot. I also think I was partially off the high of Cigarette Two-Step, which is another fantastic song that we just listened to as well. So I think those two songs in conjunction together kind of continued my energy of enjoying this album thus far. But yeah, great song. I love this sort of like break at like the bridge portion of the song. That was really nice. And just again, them doing harmonies in the choruses of the song was really nice, and I think it adds that sort of like dimension that I feel like with all of the features that they've had has been just kind of like a standout thing within the song itself. So been enjoying the features. This is the last of the features, so it's very nice for them to kind of close out the features with their previous vocalist. Very nice. I like that a lot, and I'm excited to delve into Heavenward and obviously their previous Teenage Wrist album, so hopefully you'll join me for those. It'd be very exciting. But we are going to move it into track 11, which is Sprawled. We're getting into two very long tracks comparatively to some of the other songs on the album. This one being 5 minutes and 6 seconds long, and Paloma being 5.5 minutes long. So we're getting into some deep territory. So I'm curious how they're going to hold up in terms of these songs, but without further ado, let's get into Sprawled first. Okay. like this. Really ethereal.
Paid me no mind till you came down.
I like the dynamics so far of this track. Really
All
fun.
of the lights turn green. Fireflies grace the sea. They're nothing now, a memory. We're made of mistakes, but we could let them fade. When you let your light break through, nobody shines.
Ooh, nice chord change.
Like you. Nobody shines like you.
Is that saxophone? What? Oh, I love this.
Where would the street
You have me intrigued now, teenagers.
ever take us now? Back to the start where we Future's only gonna pin you down. So let's stay right here for now. Let's stay.
Ooh, interesting rhythm change. All right.
Let's stay for
All right. All right. Wow, what a great addition. That's actually added so much to this song. I love it. All right, guys. So that was track 11, Sprawled, off of Teenage Risk's newest album, Still Love. You can check it out now. Go give it some love down in the description. This one was very good. I enjoyed a lot of the elements of this track. That saxophone came out of nowhere. But wow, what a lovely addition to this track. Really enjoyed that. I feel like I have to come out and say I am just a sax stan. I love when any band incorporates sax into their music. Capstan is like another band I can think of off the top of my head that has some really great sax stuff. Shredders is another great one that incorporates a lot of great sax moments into their music. Um, Shit, I can't remember other ones, but those are the two that came to mind off the top of my head. But just what a great like element to the track that is just very unexpected. And I think I'd imagine it surprised a lot of people in regards to the process of this album, and just getting through it. I think the musicality of it was very fun too. Very similarly to, I would say, Still Love. It had a lot of like really cool openness to it, very ethereal. But I also think there's a lot of like directness in this track that I really enjoyed. There's just some like really beautiful melodies, and I think in terms of like the musicality of it, I think vocally it pulled a lot from like Diorama, but I think sonically it pulled a lot from like Still Love, where there's a lot of cool like open guitar work where there's like these big open spaces, but like vocally, I think it's very like succinct and diverse, which is how I felt pretty much about Diorama. So I really enjoyed that sort of juxtaposition of that within the song itself. I also think it utilizes their vocalist super well. I think he really did a great job of kind of just filling out the song super well. I obviously feel like that's a pretty much of a given in terms of the sound, but like I think with a song being 5 minutes long, oftentimes you can find yourself in moments where you're like, ooh, this is kind of dragging, or this kind of feels a little weird, or I don't know if this really works. And I think if the saxophone was not incorporated in this song, I probably might feel that way about it. But the saxophone kind of almost added as kind of like instinctually felt like a guest feature, almost like just kind of like the way that like the saxophone parts kind of had like a vocal melody quality to it. I think it really counteracted well with their vocalists, and just kind of that sound. So I like kind of the bounce off between those two is just a really fun vibe, and really enjoyed the elements that brought this song together. I think really the largest piece of that puzzle was the saxophone, and I think it definitely helped carry this song into, I would argue, one of my favorites as well. Just like kind of loved the openness of it, the ethereal nature of the track, and just was a fun song overall, despite it being a little bit more on that kind of like mid-tempo, mid-energy. There's some really cool drumming parts as well too. I don't want to discount that at all as well. Just some really cool like drum work that kind of spiced up the track a little bit, and so I really enjoyed that element of it. But overall, just was a fun song to get into, and I didn't feel like the 5 minutes was overstaying its welcome, which oftentimes with longer songs I can kind of certainly get to that point within it. But this one felt very good, very fun, very ethereal, and just enjoyed it a lot. So great song to kind of get to the close of the album, which we are going to move into the last track, the track number 12, which is Paloma, aka Ketamine. So very excited to get into this one. This is the final one, and being the longest song on the album. So we are going to delve into this 5.5 minute behemoth right now.
God damn it, that was so good. Alright, again. Yeah.
I like this. I like this intro.
Yeah, I just need to get in the zone.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I thought there. Start.
Nothing
have this set up is very interesting. I hear all of the drumming in this part and like the other end of it in the other ear. What an interesting listening experience.
It took a while, but I think I found the nerve. Carry me, dream and take me home. Bury me deeper inside my soul. I've been a coward, demons when undisturbed. I spent a lot of sunshine digging my skin like dirt. And I found a mirror, the bottom of
I like kind of like the home recording aspect of the song. It feels very like genuine, you know.
first time I ever really saw myself. Carry me, dream and take me home.
I like the grit of his like higher register.
Deeper inside my soul. Carry me through tomorrow. Carry me now.
Ooh, nice. A lot of reverb. I wonder if there's gonna be anything else. We're gonna find out, I'm sure. Nice, a little delay, like reverse delay. It kind of feels like a cut up like pre-pro section. Or session, I mean. Sorry, I don't know why I said section. Cool peer into the looking glass. I like that. All right, guys, that was the last track. Paloma, aka Ketamine. This one was an interesting song. I guess in the sense of like the album, it's like very like indie. You know, I think that the process that which they decided to close the album out on this one, I think, is an interesting one. I kind of be curious to know as to why maybe this one might have been the last song to choose from. But I do appreciate it for what it is. I think the coolest thing about it is that just like how like I want to say like how genuine or how honest it is. You know, there's something about it where oftentimes when you think of projects or bands and you're just like, man, this has to be so polished or this has to be so clean, and if it's not like that, then we're not putting it out on an album. So I feel like this kind of speaks to that sort of like counterculture sort of mentality of like, listen, like all songs wind up being some sort of like pre-pro demo or something like that, and doesn't wind up making it on the album. And this one kind of gives me that sort of energy where it's like, it's still a song and it's still, you know, pretty solid nonetheless, but I think it makes it, I think there's like kind of an overarching theme that is just like, this is just, we're just making music, we're just kind of creating this sort of thing, and like we just want to know that we're having a good time just writing it. And it just felt like they just put a mic in the room when they were recording it and just like said like, okay, here's some of our thoughts, like let's just try to play through it and see if it works. And they just wind up ultimately making it onto the record as like just a song, not as like, oh, okay, well, we need to kind of like put it in the studio, we need to like kind of record it the way it's supposed to be traditionally recorded. Like there was just something about the like room energy that I really appreciated about this song. And while it might not be like the most technical song, or it might not be the most teenage risk song, I do find that it's very relatable in the sense that it's just like, we don't give a shit, we're just gonna write a song and it's gonna be fun, and we're just gonna throw it on at the end of the record. And for people who want to experience it for just experiencing it, then this is what it's gonna be. It's not necessarily a song that's just going to be like, oh my God, it's going to give you that like insane reaction or something like that. But I appreciate this sort of care to detail in regards to just writing a song that they ultimately enjoy writing, and that, you know, it just seems like they had a fun time like combing through, and it doesn't seem like it's like this crazy thing. So really appreciate that aspect of it. And I think I gotta give him a lot of credit for doing something like this, because oftentimes you hear kind of like the best foot forward for a band. And while I don't think that this is a bad step by any means, I do think it's nice to know that they're just keeping true to themselves. So I think that's kind of the biggest selling point I have about Paloma, if you haven't listened to that one. So overall, it was a great record. I think definitely there were some songs that to me were a little bit more standout than others. But I think just kind of the having the new vocalist in the band and kind of delving into different genres and dipping their toes into other things, I think it was very nice to hear it. I think it also gives me an interesting perspective on previous albums and where they're going to be heading, or where they've already headed, because this is kind of the first Teenage Risk album I've really delved into. I did initially find out about Teenage Risk from Is It Really You when they did the cover of their Loathe song. And so I've kind of followed their journey from that perspective, but not really listening to any of their previous albums in full in-depth mode. So I really want to kind of delve into those a little bit more, and maybe I'll go live and do both of those albums, because I'm curious to see where they've kind of come from, and obviously where they'll be going in the future, which seems to be this kind of direction. So I think overall standout songs to me, I would probably say Cigarette Two-Step is my favorite off the album, 100%. Definitely kind of resonates more with my heavier side of music, and so really enjoyed that a ton. I would say Sunshine is number 2. That guitar riff is just so memorable to me, and it's a song that I just had been beaten into the ground a ton, because I just love the melodies. I love the thought process of that song so much, and it was very fun and very enjoyable. I would say another song I really enjoyed was Humbug. That one was also a very fun track, and I think it gives me a good perspective of older Teenage Risk and where their head was at with that, as well as that, trying to get a perspective on Heavenward, and where their previous vocalist is going to be going with that project. And I'd say Sprawled I really enjoyed a lot. That sax part was really sick, and just kind of was something that was kind of a little bit more out of left field, but I think for a song that's 5 minutes long, they did a great job of kind of keeping your interest and keeping you keeping you in the song. So I really enjoyed that. And then I would say an honorable mention. I really love Something Good. I think that one was another one that was a little bit softer, but still kind of kept with that sort of teenage wrist vibe of the album. So overall, really good. I would argue that this album deserves more listens than just the once through, just because I think there was a lot of elements that I didn't really necessarily pick up on upon first listen, and so it was very cool to kind of again delve more into the singles and get more of a perspective on that. But I think some of the songs that weren't singles are arguably a little bit more adept than the singles were. So I'm curious to see where my thoughts lie towards the end of the year on this album, because I really did love the singles a lot, and I think that's what really got me hooked on it. But I think there's a lot of hidden gems on this album that I feel like deserve a lot more love. But let me know what you think about Teenage Wrist Still Love down in the comment section below. Would love to know your thoughts on the album as a whole. I know a few people had asked me to do a review of this, and honestly, I have been excited for this record as well too. So wanted to try to get this out as soon as I was physically able to do it. So definitely really stoked to see what Teenage Wrist is going to be doing next. I do plan on seeing them in Philadelphia, so if you are going to be at the Philadelphia show, come say what's good, say hello. I feel like I don't bite, so feel free to say hi to me. I would love to meet and talk about the album. Teenage Wrist, if you wind up watching this, I'd love to have you on the show. Maybe we can do an interview at the Philly show. I might as well put it out there. There's a good chance you might watch it. That'd be really sick. And I'd love to just talk with you about the new album. So thank you for watching. If you are new here, make sure to hit that sub button. I'm trying to hit 5K before the year's over with. And it'd be really sick if you wanted to join the community. And just trying to do what I can to get as much shit out here as possible, and I'm always down to listen to whatever, so feel free to just give me some suggestions, and yeah, just really stoked to listen to some new music. But thank you for watching. My cat is meowing at me, so I think that is time for me to go. Thank you for watching live. If you're watching in the past, I love you, and thank you for supporting what I do. It's always appreciated, and hope to